Well, hello there guys, welcome to Dino's Vault and welcome to my first ride review of the 2018 CBR 250R. Now many of you kept requesting for this video, so finally the time has come for my take on the new CBR 250R. What all new it has on offer, does the ride feel change with the BS4 update? The answers to all of that is what is coming up in this video, so without further ado, let's get started with this review. Now the CBR 250R has always been a good all-rounder bike. Now many Honda fanboys literally prayed and hoped for Honda to launch the all-new CBR 250RR here in our market, a bike that's revolutionizing the quarter-liter sport bike segment all across the world. But then there are always several other factors that come into the picture before launching a product. The 250RR being powered by a twin-cylinder engine and packing in more advanced features like upside-down forks, throttle-by-wire, etc. would cost nearly twice as much as the CBR 250R, and whether people here would be ready to spend that much of extra cash for a quarter-liter bike with several other more powerful single-cylinder options being available for nearly half the price is the big question that might be playing on Honda's mind before they take a decision on this matter. Well, for now we get an updated CBR 250R that has always been an excellent all-rounder bike right from its very introduction. This is a bike that you can use on a day-to-day basis for office commutes. You can go touring on this during the weekends and you can also enjoy it on the track should you choose to attend some track day events. Now there's a saying which says we miss someone only when they are gone, and that's exactly what happened to the CBR 250R when it was discontinued during the BS3 to BS4 transition period. People still love the motorcycle just the way it is, and I'm sure many of them would be glad to see the legend making a comeback. So for the year 2018, this is what we get for now. Talking about what all new we get with this new model, first of all, the engine is now BS4 compliant. The second major inclusion is that of a full LED headlamp unit that does manage to lend the bike a refreshed look. We also get a blacked out treatment for the Speedo console, although the basic layout remains the same. The new striking color schemes, especially the red and the yellow ones, look really eye-catchy and attractive. This is the grey and orange color variant, which looks quite good as you can see in these clips. I also featured the grey and green color variant from the Auto Expo, and you can watch that video by following the link in the description portion. Also, just in case you guys haven't noticed it yet, the CBR 250R draws its design inspiration from the legendary VFR 1200F, which is one of the most iconic bikes that Honda have ever produced. Now I am reviewing the CBR after a gap of nearly 2 years, and I felt the design still remains quite attractive, and the design elements are well highlighted with this new red color paint scheme. The new body graphics are sensibly laid out to further complement and uplift the design concept. Overall, fully fed bikes always look more attractive and offer much better road presence, and this one is no exception. Talking about another major USP of this bike, it has to be the way the seats are laid out. The split seats offer adequate room for the rider as well as the pillion and are practically laid out such that the pillion doesn't feel as if he's desperately hanging on for his dear life. Talking about the seating posture, again, it isn't too aggressive as other super sport options available in our market. The seating posture is intermediate between being way too aggressive or being way too upright, so we have the flexibility to amble around in the city comfortably. At the same time, you can tuck yourself in behind the well laid out windshield and shoot across the empty streets on the highways. This versatile nature of the CBR comes across as a major plus for it compared to other super sport bikes that offer way too aggressive seating posture for daily use. Also, we need to bear in mind here that the CBR is more of a sport tourer rather than qualifying as a super sport machine. Talking about the switches, we do get a high beam flasher and an engine kill switch, and I really wish Honda adds in a hazard light switch here just like they have done for the 2018 Hornet, because that would really come in handy while touring. Talking about the powertrain, powering the CBR 250R is a liquid cooled 4-stroke 4-valve single cylinder fuel injected 249.6cc engine in a DOHC setup that puts out 26.9 22.5 PS of max power at 8500 RPM and 22.9 Newton meters of max torque at 7000 RPM. This comes mated to a 6-speed gearbox. Taking the bike out for a spin, the bike seems nice and responsive without any lag right off the mark. Also, please note that the power delivery is very smooth and linear and well controlled. It isn't way too aggressive or intimidating like that of the RC Twins. The clutch feel is nice and light. The throttle response is quite immediate without any delay or latency. The gearbox comes with well matched gear ratios such that you can tap into the power nice and cleanly without having to rush. The comfort is well taken care of, as I mentioned before. The rider seat is well cushioned and the seating posture is also well set such that you don't have to lean forward completely, thereby putting all your weight on your wrists and palms. Comfort wise, the CBR scores well ahead of its rivals in this price range, and please note this includes pillion comfort as well. The engine revs freely without any hint of vibrations whatsoever throughout the mid-range, which provides for a completely fatigue-free and quite a pleasurable riding experience overall. Talking about the brakes, we get a 296mm disc up front and a 220mm disc at the back. Please note that I tested the non-ABS variant, but I have ridden my friend's ABS models earlier, so I would say the braking on this bike is quite decent when we consider the kind of power this bike has on offer. The braking on this particular non-ABS model was quite smooth and there was no jitteriness even when I went a little hard on the brakes. If you guys are running a little tight on budget, then I would suggest that you pick up the non-ABS variant and ride it sensibly, because the price difference between the standard and the ABS model is nearly 30k, which is quite huge. Now the ABS variant does feel a little overpriced, but when we compare it with the likes of the RC200, which still does not offer ABS, the CBR does make sense by offering more power, more torque, better refinement, more versatility, and the additional safety of ABS at this price point. Talking about the suspension, we get telescopic forks up front and a ProLink monoshock at the back. The suspension again isn't too stiff to bother you while going over potholes at lower speeds. At the same time, it holds up well and supports the chassis well at higher speeds without leaving you bouncing around all over the place. Talking about the tires, we get a 110/70 tire up front and a 140/70 tire at the back. The tires do offer good road grip, but you just need to be a little watchful after hitting a water patch on the road. Ground clearance is 145mm, decent enough to clear the speed breakers in the city while riding solo, but you need to be a little watchful while riding with a pillion on board. Seat height is 784mm, again ideally set to appeal to riders of all sizes. Tank capacity is 13 liters, although I personally feel at least a 16-liter tank would end up offering better tank range because many of the CBR owners prefer to go touring on their bikes. Mileage wise, as per user feedback from friends who own this bike, it's around 25 to 30 kmpl depending upon your riding style and riding conditions. Price ex-showroom Hyderabad for the non-ABS variant is rupees 1,65,258, and for the ABS variant it is rupees 1,94,781. Well, that's pretty much it for now. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless, and ride safe.